you everybody for coming out today. Home opener finally here, Friday, 7 o'clock against Albany. Joining Coach Leipold today is senior running back Jordan Johnson. With that, we'll open it up for questions.
Jordan, hard to believe it's your last home opener here.
It is. It's been 5 long years. Red-shirted my first year. Didn't get to play in my second year due to injury, and now I'm here for my last one.
You approach things any differently as a senior?
No. Going to every game the same way. Actually, Coach reminds us, you got to practice harder, and then come game time, it'll be easier.
As far as the scouting report on Albany, what have you seen on film so far?
I know they got a lot of returning defensive players. They very strong in the front seven. They got a very good defensive end. And they got the linebacker who played in our game last year. He got hurt. He's returning this year. He's a little bigger. So, he'll be coming with a little extra motivation. Then they got a transfer linebacker from Maryland. They're a middle linebacker. So, I think that would be a good matchup for us.
What about opening up on a Friday night under the lights? It's kind of exciting and not the norm for college football.
I think that's pretty cool. We're one of 11 games, I believe. We're on ESPN3. So, people get to watch us play. So I think it's very good. A night game. The players are excited. It should be a very good crowd. So it should be a good game.
What are your expectations for yourself in your senior year?
I say it all the time. I have my own individual goals, but as long as our team is winning football games, the things that I want to accomplish will come along, and they will happen themselves. Everything will just fall into place.
Have you done anything differently because the change for you is that you're not the second guy anymore? You're not sharing the job with somebody else that might be ahead of you. How are things different for you in your mind and the way you're approaching this?
Well, Coach Simon does a good job of getting us ready through our practice. He makes sure me and Jonathan Hawkins are getting the reps that we need throughout practice. And Coach Sid did a good job this summer. The running backs used to run with, we got these skill groups, power, skill, and big skill. The running backs used to run with the big skill. But now this year we ran with the skill group. So I got my conditioning levels up, speed is up. My weight is around the same way, but my body fat percentage is down. So I think I'm in better shape than I was in previous years.
Could you go talk about that a little more, the big skill? So does that mean the running backs used to run in the off season, you mean, with linebackers and tight ends? Yeah,
with the skill group is the receivers and the defensive backs, and now the running backs. Then the big skill would be the linebackers and the tight ends and the specialists, and then the power would be the offensive line and the defensive line.
How do you view obviously your big back, your size, and they ask you to do a lot of inside zone runs, and just using your size between the tackles?
I think that's an advantage. The best way to get the most yards is to go north and south. Don't go side to side. So as long as I'm hitting the holes fast, I think that works in my advantage. Being big, I could fall down and get a yard or two extra. So
you've had a lot of good runs out of the Wildcat. Being a former quarterback in high school, do you kind of lobby for that or?
No, we haven't even really worked on it yet this year. So if it happens, it happens. I'll just do what the coaches ask me.
How about throwing the ball? Do you lobby for that at all?
I think I still could play quarterback, but we got 2 pretty good quarterbacks on our team, so I don't think I really need to throw the ball at all this year.
And how about that, dual quarterback system that Coach said both guys could get a chance to play on Friday night? And what are your thoughts from the, offensive standpoint for that?
Rather it's Grant or it's Tyree in the ball game. We've been practicing with them throughout spring and throughout fall camp as both of them in there running with the one huddle. So, no matter who it is that's in there, I think our offense would gel pretty well because we're used to hearing both of their voices, seeing both of them under center. So I don't think it really would be a drop-off between the two. Grant could throw the ball pretty well. He knows when to make the checks. And Tyree, as we know, has a very strong arm. He's young, and he's growing up each and every day.
How does your experience at that position help you? Even, it's a while ago. Yeah. But how has that helped you in your career here?
Well, I learned from, Brandon Oliver. And he was one of the hardest workers, that I ever seen play. He came every day with that attitude to get better in practice. And a lot of people don't understand that you got to get better in practice. And learning from him and seeing how he did things just made it that much better. I roommate with Joe Licata last year, so seeing how he prepared for the games as well also made me realize how the preparation fact goes into it the night before a game. How you got to be mentally focused and mentally prepared.
Lance, could you talk about Albany and kind of what you see from that?
Well, I guess one advantage in this is, versus a year ago, there were so many unknowns for us last year. An uncommon opponent, first year for us as a staff, a lot of things. This time around, you look at where they evolved as the season went along, and as we did as well. I think it becomes a little bit more common for us to be able to watch the film. Jordan alluded to that they have. I think upwards to 17 returning starters plus 2 FBS transfers. So it's an experienced group. I think they're going to come in here with confidence. They're still they have a couple quarterbacks with game experience. So all those things I think are going to give us a good test. And Jordan alluded to that front seven, and one of the things that we know we have to do, and the young man next to me is going to be a big part of that, is that we need to run the ball better this year, and we need to be more consistent, and establishing a running game is going to be very important, and this will be a good challenge with an experienced front seven to go against.
In your time at Whitewater, was there a season where you had 2 quarterbacks that you said both could play the first game of the season, or is this a new thing for you?
This is a new thing. We had some transitions. The one thing that I felt that our time back there was I want to make sure I say it right. I think in our 6 championship seasons, we started, 5 different quarterbacks. So, again, it takes a team, it takes a system, and then one year we did make a change partway through. And the thing that we want to be very careful of, that it's not a musical chairs, but again, it's a competitive situation. Just like we want Jonathan Hawkins to work hard each and every day to push Jordan, and there'll be competition throughout. And we've talked about that since the first day we arrived, and sometimes that's new in some places, but again, that fostering depth and competition creates better practices, creates that depth, it helps morale, and again, it gets you ready for the long season. We think it's going to make us a better program at each and every position. But the thing I do want to make clear on that is, sometimes when you play 2, some people don't think you have 1. And in this case, we are very, very confident in both these young men being able to be very successful in running our offense.
How different are they? What's the breakdown?
Well, size-wise is probably the easiest. When you have somebody like Tyree's stature and that, and I think some of it has to do with experience and some of the things that Grant has seen and been through. Going through multiple coordinators and different things at his time at Iowa State, plus coming here. But again, Tyree's his size, his arm strength, things like that. I think they're both capable runners, and again, we're anxious to see them under the lights and really in game competition on Friday night.
Who's going to get the first series? Do you know?
Yes, Grant. Grant will get the first series. Both will play. As I said the other day, the meaningful opportunities. Okay, so you'll see both.
What do you want to see out of the O-line, and how do you think that has come together?
To say work in progress, I think it always is when you have some new people. David Goldsby will be starting at the right guard spot. Brandon Monteslavas has moved from right to left, and that was done about a week ago, kind of alternating. So there's still some newness, I guess, in that group gelling together. David's a newcomer to the program this summer, very athletic. We feel very confident, but he's never played guard before, and and sometimes that can be a little different. What am I looking for? Taking the necessary steps of improvement each and every week, and becoming a more physical unit and establishing that run game that we need, and being consistent as we go along, and being in and out of the things that we do. Hopefully we can alleviate any of that as we work through the season.
Brandon's played both guards in years past. Was that decision to move him based on wanting to have Goldsby in one spot, or what went into that?
Probably just in simplistic terms is that David was playing the right tackle spot, and just keeping a right-handed stance versus learning a new positioning and learning and switching his stance around and things like that. We thought that would be the easiest way for him. Sometimes you can take certain guys at positions, Paul, and they can play right or left. Sometimes it's better if the guy has the ability to play both. It's better to keep him on a certain side of the ball, and we thought this was the best way to go.
Safety, I see Tim Roberts is at the top of the,
Yeah.
Dev has been dinged up a little. Just what's
Yeah.
the situation?
Yeah, Dev is, at this time appears to be doubtful for the game. So Tim Roberts would be out there to start the game. Tim joined us in January. We're very physical safety. And Andrew Stadabo will also be playing as well. But that's the way we'll start at this time. Not sure exactly when we'll get a final on Dev.
As far as atmosphere on Friday, what are you kind of expecting and looking forward to under the lights?
Well, we hope for a great excitement. As we've always talked about, is it starts in the parking lot in the Stampede Square, and we want it to evolve. It's a holiday weekend. Hopefully there's a lot of things. I know in Western New York and in Buffalo, there's a lot of options of things. But as we continue to work to be the type of program and an event that people want to be part of, and hopefully people are anxious to come watch our team and watch what we're going to be about this year. We need that home field advantage. We need to create that home field advantage, and with those things is that we've got to give people a good reason to come out as well. So we've got to hold up our end of it, but we would sure appreciate a great crowd. It looks like it's going to be a great night for football. And, last year I think we kind of went through a hot one to just start the game. I think this one's going to be a very comfortable one. But once it's kicked off, it's more importantly how we, what our production is and how we're ready to go.
Lance, one of the newer names on the two deep is Michael DeMonte, a wide receiver, is a kind of a former walk-in who hasn't played very much. What is it that he did to convince you guys that he deserved that spot?
Well, he's a hard worker. He's waited patiently. He's worked hard for his opportunity, and sometimes you make these evaluations with certain players. When all things are equal, where are guys at this time, I guess, and understanding versus maybe where guys will be later in the season, or the opportunity if things are fairly equal. Could you redshirt and hold a year for someone else and further our development? And we're going to try to do that. Again, for seniors like Jordan, our goal is to be the best football team this year. Okay, we want to build a program for the long haul, but at the same time, we want to be successful this year. So all those things go. Michael's worked hard, and hopefully we're going to be able to get him in the game.
How much different is Jordan now than he was at the end of last year, and what are your expectations for him for this year?
Well, just listening to him, again, we were in Detroit together, but unfortunately, a lot of times we're in different rooms, and to listen to him as articulate some of the things he does, I've always been impressed. And the thing that's been most impressive, though, I think, is watching his approach this summer, to see him around the office. As our new offices in the Murchie Family Football Center was being finished, you're walking down the hall and you see a projector on and you peek in and he's watching film. I think he understands the importance of senior leadership and helping other guys, but at the same time, he had a job. I used to bump into him at the mall, and sometimes, and he had a job. He gave the job up because he wanted to focus, on having the best possible season he could. So you see a very determined young man, and I think it's going to, filter throughout the program.
Jordan, what have you been able to take away now, year two, with Coach, that maybe has changed your perspective a little bit on your game?
I think it's that, when he first came here, our practice styles were different. We started practicing very up tempo, and everything, was let's go. And this year, I think our practices are more smoothly run. Everybody's flying around, and that's allowing our team to get better. We understand what Coach expects from us, and we expect it from ourselves. Now, last year we were still thinking like, all right, man, this is just a new guy here. But now we all want to win football games, and he's made it known that we need to win football games. And I think everybody in that locker room understands the time to win is now. It's not next year or the year after. We need to win now.
Anything else for Coach or Jordan? All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Yes, guys.